It's an old 10-4, good buddy.
If you need to find some more time, remember that corner exit is more important than corner entry. Slow in, fast out, smooth on the power. Engine fired, we're set. There's only one lap of fuel remaining. Confirmed, we'll receive you at the end of this lap.
Red Bull's coming in. My bad, Octane, I didn't see you there coming.
Timed lap around in the S curves that everybody loves so much here at the Suzuka circuit. Track isn't he?
With all that practice, he should be loving every track compared to us.
30.6.
Anyway, here comes Octane through turn 12 on his way to Spoon.
This is like my 6th lap on Japan.
All personnel be aware.
We also have on out laps now Hector, Pillars, Brian, Luis, Many Things, Dan, Ryan, Ben, all on out laps. The rest of the grid is either in the pits unless they are Octane, Volcanic, or Troy. All setting timed laps as Octane comes through the final corner into the start-finish line. Octane goes 5th quickest in the Haas. Troy goes 2nd quickest, a 129.127. And now on board with the Ferrari through 130R we go with Volcanic. Coming off a 6th place finish last week in Abu Dhabi. Seeing what he can do here in Japan. To the start finish line he comes 9th out of 13 on the chart. Have another go later in the session. On board with Luis, trying to get his first time lap in of the season. Seeing if he can keep the car under control. Let's have Ryan, Ben also setting laps, and around goes Luis. He went wide through turn 8. How about Ryan through Spoonie going wide through Spoon, and around goes the Haas of Ryan. Now on board with the Williams of Ben as he heads up to the Spoon curb. Comes Ben into the final chicane. What lap time can he put up on the chart with 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this qualifying session? Ben will go 3rd quickest, a 129.212, our defending series champ. Luis having another go. He spun on the lap, but it's a 142 at the bottom of the chart. We'll see him going again. How about Many Things in the Red Bull? And Hector improves on his time to a 128.401.
Hey,
Just under 8 minutes
it.
remaining. Rolo goes 6th quickest over Octane.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
No, he's on a cooldown. I don't believe he is. Many Things goes 10th quickest. No, he's on a cooldown lap. Christian going 8th quickest in that Toro Rosso. So you have Dan on an out lap. And Larry still in the pit lane. So Hector's improved on his time. Then we have 5 drivers in the 129 bracket. And then another 5 drivers in the 130 bracket. And then another 3 drivers with 131s. Oh, and the Racing Point of Luis has retired from the session.
Left in the session.
Ryan improves to a 115. I'm sorry, a 15th position, 131.854. How about Rolo in the Renault on a flyer? Up the hill to 130R he goes.
How much time we got left?
To the start finish line, here comes Verano. 3rd quickest for Rolo, a 129.191. About the Red Bull Foursquare. I assume he's getting ready to go on a flyer.
No, I'm out of fuel. I gotta come in.
So he will not be going on a flyer. On board with the Mercedes Colton, going at it. Welcoming in the 6 viewers right now on the YouTube live stream. And another 3 on Facebook. Oh, there is a huge gaggle of cars coming through turn 1. And Volcanic's Ferrari is leading a Racing Point, a Toro Rosso, or I'm sorry, I believe that's a Williams. That is a Williams, and a McLaren.
Our best lap so far is a 1 minute 30.1. Standing by.
Comes Colton up through 130R. What can he do as he approaches the chicane? And to the start finish line goes 8th quickest in the Mercedes. How about Dan? Coming to the start finish line, nothing to write home about. He'll go 17th quickest.
Many things.
On board of Troy in the Mercedes. It's at 2nd right now, trying to bust into the 128 bracket. 3.5 minutes remain. up through 130R. It looks like he's aborting his lap as he was already trending in the red at that sector line. Here comes Ben approaching many things. Is about to start a flyer. Ben on a flyer. To the start finish line. It's looking good. It's second quickest. A 128.596. Many things taking the scenic route on his flying lap. Here comes Hector trying to improve upon this. No, he's heading into the pit lane. On board with Malico into the McLaren.
No, I'm going in.
Now with Foursquare. Into the S-curves. In the Red Bull. Right now, Sat 7th. David up to 8th quickest. How about a double point starting position for the Williams? For the time being. A little bit of a lockup from the Red Bull into the hairpin. Shrug that one off. Teammates had to wait for each other. Oh, and pits. Alright. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it. Anyway, Foursquare coming through the final corner. Through the start-finish line, trying to improve from 7th. Improves, but not a position. There's many things on a flyer. Many things sat 14th. Trying to keep the car under control and trying not to start in the middle of the storm as Dan Ryan many things his way. Oh, that was sketchy and scary, but many things goes through. No problem. Oh, and around goes the Red Bull anyway. Please, if you're on a lap or you're not gonna finish, if you're trying to head into the pit lane, don't. Go ahead and cross the start-finish line. Anyway, I don't think we have any more flying laps under us. Larry did not set a timed lap. And Rolla headed into the... oh well. Foursquare is coming into the pit lane.
Damn it, Foursquare.
Went into the pits.
Don't go in the pits. I thought you said go in the pits.
No.
No, don't go in the pits. It's too late now.
Now. You can't back
too late
up.
now. Are you gonna reverse back onto the track?
I'm so sorry.
It's whatever.
This man stopped at pit lane like, do you want me to reverse?
Oh, we gotta leave Christian too. Why don't we?
Oh my
I'm just
god.
like, Foursquare right there, do you want me to reverse?
Oh my god.
So as the qualifying session comes to a close, it's Hector, Ben in the 128s, then it's 4 drivers in 129s, another 5 drivers, 6, 7, 8 drivers in the 130s, Ryan a 131.
I just watched BG drill a Ferrari. BG drilled a Ferrari and lost his front wing.
So this is going to do it here for qualifying, and because we're starting early, we're gonna probably get this Grand Prix underway before 7:25 Eastern time, which is good. Hector, Ben, row 1, Pillars, Troy, Rolo, Malenko, Foursquare, David, Colton, Octane make out your top 10.
Every time I went through the S's, once I finally got softs on, I just kept picking it up. I never got a good time.
And
PG,
Hector
you were never getting
looking,
a good time.
What's that?
Hector looking
You were never getting a good
strong
time.
already.
I
Here
could
at the
have
beginning.
gotten a second and a half faster.
That still would have been a
Oh,
good
it looks
time.
like many things has a steering issue.
He is a steering issue.
I had a braking issue because I
Internet issues.
I got
You
distracted
almost
by one.
wiped out a Mercedes.
No, I
What
noticed he was
that?
there, so that's why I said I had one of my parents get in the way.
Anyway, we have a
My-
27 lapper on our hands, but these drivers, as they prepare for that 27 lapper, before that they embark on the all-important formation lap around this Suzuka International Racing Course.
I had a bad
Yes.
qualifying because like my controller needs replacing.
Run into the back of him.
Please no
Destroy him.
Bongrino, Jimmer.
Got it.
Just wreck that top 4, pro.
Can we avoid that as much as possible?
Wreck it.
Please and thank you.
Please, let's not wreck in the first corner.
Anyway, here we go. The 20 drivers, they're gridded up and ready to go. Let's roll on the formation lap.
Right, let's get the car up to
everything
temperature
settled
on
up
this
here.
lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
Alright, so let's do this. Our running order, our starting order here, row 1, we have Hector in the Alfa Romeo coming off of back-to-back wins. Can he go 3 in a row? Our defending series champion, Inva Williams, Ben, will start alongside of him. Row 2, we have already a one-time race winner out of the 3 Grand Prix this season is Pillars, starting 3rd in that Ferrari. And alongside of him, Troy in that Mercedes is 3 straight podiums. Can he finish on the top step today? Row 3 will have Rolo in the Renault, has had very strong runnings when he's been able to run incident free. Can he go today incident free? And starting alongside of him, Malenko in for Markle once again. Can he get another points paying position for the McLaren? Row 4. Row 4 we have the Red Bull of Foursquare
Had the
and
worst
the
luck at Abu
Williams
Dhabi.
of David. Row 5, we have the Mercedes of Colton and the Haas of Octane. Can he squeeze out a top 10 run? He's been deserving of it this season thus far. Row 6, we have Christian in the Toro Rosso and Steven in the Racing Point. Row 7, we have Volcanic in the Ferrari and many things in the Red Bull. Row 8, we have Ryan in the Haas and Brian in the McLaren. Row 9, we have Dan in the Alfa Romeo and Luis in the Racing Point. And rounding out the final row, we have Larry in the Renault and Freddie in the Toro Rosso. As the drivers come up to the grid and get ready to grid up,
Okay, so yeah,
had a little bit of a run-in on the formation lap, but apparently they sorted that one out in the chat.
Radar is clear, weather is looking good for now.
That is an interesting place to settle something
The
in
rest
real
of the grid is
time.
forming up.
But
Be patient and watch
here we
for the
go.
lights.
The 20 drivers are gridding up, and we're getting ready to go. It is time to bring the action, because wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. We've got 5 red lights, and it is lights out, and away we go. The 20 driver grid roars into turn number 1 as they'll have to face the S-curses. Curves at race speed. Side by side, Ben going to the point. The Alfa Romeo going wide. Troy up into second. Now can Hector get to his inside? Hector breaks smart through the first S as everybody's
Can I
single
run
file
you out
already.
there, Foursquare?
Nope.
Everybody's singling it out through the field. Oh, there's a Racing Point going wide. Further back in the pack, that's Luis. trying out to get into an incident, and he is clear. So everybody single file as we head through turns 8 and 9. Ben in a point over Troy, Hector, Pillars, Rolo, Malenko, Foursquare, David, Octane, many things the top 10, many things up 4 spots from where he started. Meanwhile, Christian down 6, Colton down 3. And the Alfa Romeo going at it with Christian. Dan and Christian, they make contact. Around goes Christian. Dan goes wide. And there goes Larry right through it. Luis follows through. Freddie in between the Alfa Romeo and Vittorio Rosso. Huge melee up here. Hector in third.
Zesty died a little bit.
Hector had contact with somebody.
Alright.
As everybody queued up here, there's a 5-second speeding penalty for the Toro Rosso. Freddy in the pit lane sped. Hector had everybody queued up. Now the Ferrari of Pillars has everybody queued up behind him. Few drivers starting on the mediums like Ryan, Brian, Dan, and Luis. Caution in the first sector is Luis.
Somebody forgot that 100 meter board as well.
Which damage do you have big?
Oh, Colton and Brian had another incident. They came off of an incident last week that was kind of controversial between the two, and
completely unrelated spin.
they were unrelated. They just spun in the same corner. Unrelated,
I guess I was giving him a little extra burst, and then I hit the gravel.
Back up front, Ben has a 4/10 of a second lead over Troy. As we come to the end of lap 2, that means ZRS will be available starting lap number 3.
The irony of it.
Ben with the fastest lap, Hector with the fastest lap, a 132.946. Rolo up into the 4th position over the Ferrari of Pillars. And how about Malenko hanging tough up here with the faster of the field. Very competitive up here near the front. Different drivers from different racing backgrounds and different levels of talent all up here, but everybody showing speed. And around goes the Haas of Octane in the grass. Want to get a little mowing in this weekend. And around goes the Williams, that's David. Larry up into the 13th position, being clean after starting 19th.
Well, I'm still alive, Foursquare. Barely.
The Red
You all
Bull
got
Force
squirrely out
made
of
his
that.
way around the McLaren of Malenko.
I took that curb and I thought I was dead.
Still has the wing intact, so looks like all is well. Caution in sector 2. Looks like it's a racing point, or I'm sorry, now for Romeo, Dan. Luis has been in and out of the pit lane. And Hector sets an even faster lap. How about a 132.657? As up front is about to get hectic. The top 3 have DRS on one another. Here we go. 3 of the fastest going at it. Ben, our defending series champion. Troy, familiar with all sorts of racing backgrounds. And Hector, our point leader, going at it here at the Suzuka circuit.
What's wrong?
Right now, Ben holding his own as Hector pulling closer and closer to the Mercedes of Troy.
Okay, you're in the top 10. laps over target on fuel. Let's start burning it off, please.
Through Spoon we go. Detroit trying to get a higher line through the end of the Spoon curve to try to get a good run up here down this old French straightaway and on his way to 130R. Again, 130R, a high-speed, flat-out left-hander. Here we go into the chicane. Hector piling on the pressure on the Mercedes. Many things up to 8th over Volcanic. Volcanic going wide through 130R. Side by side, a Ferrari and a Red Bull. Slightly touch, if any. Back up front, Troy holding his own over Hector as Pillars and Foursquare going at it. Pillars holds on to 5th over Foursquare. Here you have a Ferrari, a Red Bull, and a McLaren all queued up together. Pillars, Foursquare, Malenko having at it. Further back, we have Many Things Volcanic and Steven. We have little triplets all up and down the grid order. Rolo kind of in no man's land between the front trio and the middle trio up here in the top 10. There's a caution in sector 2.
There's a yellow flag ahead.
That gets another racing point. That's Luis. Dan further down the order, 17th, up around the Mercedes. Caution in sector 2. Round goes a McLaren, down to order, that's Malenko. Probably went wide in Spoon. Now up the hill to 130R off slipstream. How about Troy, the fastest lap, a 132.598. Well, somebody's gone straight off. I believe that might be Luis letting drivers through here.
New strategy is available on the MFT.
That is him. Understanding the situation, being smart about letting drivers through.
Confirmed.
Back up front, the top 3 separated by 1 second. How about Troy on the gearbox of the Williams? Trying to pile on the pressure on Ben, and a 5-second time penalty for Christian once again for speeding into the pit lane. We work lap 6 of 27 here at the Suzuka circuit. About that run through turn 8. Troy right on the gearbox, and Williams getting pulled to the inside here on the hairpin. He doesn't do so. A 3-second time penalty for the Ferrari of Pillars for multiple warnings. Right now battling the Red Bull of Foursquare for the 5th position. Troy is there, but doesn't really have the opportunity as somebody's in the dirt. That's a Haas.
Oh, you're lagging.
Going around.
I am sorry. I was trying to get out the way.
A severe collision with David. Octane was trying to get out of the way to Williams and not in time. David has some wing damage. Dan goes up to 13th. How about Larry in the 12th? Making his return again. Started 19th on the grid and hasn't been in an incident yet. Just kind of running his race and avoiding all the incidents that happened in front of him. How about this queue of cars up here? Malenko on Volcanic.
I just went through Volcanic, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Malenko in Volcanic.
What happened to me?
I know he disappeared, what the fuck?
Oh, no.
Now, is this the laggy crew right here? Smoke, Volcanic, and many things?
Sheesh.
Probably.
I'm in the lag car section.
Okay.
Hey, you fit right in.
Yeah.
I was just saying, everybody's...
And Malenko going wide keeps the car on the pavement. Here comes Volcanic looking to have a go at Malenko. Back up front, Hector piling on the pressure on the Mercedes of Troy now. Can he get something done heading into the chicane? Up the hill to 130R. Troy trying to break the slipstream. Here we go. The flat out left-hander. Beautiful. Caution in sector 1. That is a Williams going around. That's David. 19th position on the hards along with Colton. How about Troy on the gearbox? Oh, almost contact with the Williams. He's trying to examine and take some info for his team. All up in the gearbox. Has been able to pull away a little bit. Probably Troy had to get out of a rhythm a little bit. Oh, here comes Steven piling on the pressure on Malenko. McLaren v Racing Point going at it for 8th as we come out of the S curves on the way to turn 8. Oh, a huge lag for Steven. Lagged all the way back to the 10th position.
What the hell? I went from 7th to 10th to 7th to 10th.
I've never seen someone just lag back in line.
What the?
And not lag back forward. Another 5-second time penalty for speeding into the pit lane for Christian. My goodness. I think he was just trying to serve the penalty, and it's not looking good.
The penalty from the penalty.
David into the pit lane. David did not speed.
Of the previous penalty.
About Pillars and Foursquare going... no, they just were able to pass Rollo as he's in the pit lane now.
Is your phone on the Wi-Fi?
Gap to teammate behind is 8.9 seconds.
Rollo will merge into traffic in the 11th position. There's a large gap between 11th and 12th. And that is the end of the Racing Point. Maybe he can make it back in and regain control. But that Racing Point will probably be going AI. Malenko back up to many things. Still hasn't been able to have a go at many things. The top 3 still where they are.
Chronic under here.
Hector into the pit lane. Reports rain is on the radar around the Suzuka circuit. Does it come before the end of the Grand Prix is a question. How about Pillars into the pit lane? Will the track get wet enough for these drivers to have to switch tires? Is another question. Is Hector's going to come out in front of Malenko and many things going at it for position? Comes Rollo on fresh tires up to the Ferrari of Volcanic.
You're going to start losing some tire grip.
See how he navigates connectivity. He's made it through the Racing Point of Steven. And around goes Steven. So I guess he just lagged out of the party and is continuing in control of that car. Oh, and the Ferrari going through him. Pillars had nowhere to go. Steven lagging big time. And that might cost Pillars as Larry, I think, went into gravel. Try to avoid what's going on. Sorry, he's favored back in the order. I think Ryan went into gravel. And that really sacrificed some time out of Pillars.
Our gap to the car in front is 14.
Luis has gone off the track, letting Larry through. Larry approaching David. There's a caution in sector 2 again. Luis actually just letting drivers through. How about Ben into the pit lane? Troy taking over the race lead in that Mercedes.
Green flag. We're racing again.
And Ferrari has retired from the session. And a virtual safety car deployed. Trying to avoid a Red Bull was Volcanic. Not sure if there's any contact.
No, Uncle spun me.
I didn't spin you. You hit into me. I went as wide as possible.
I mean, I wouldn't say spin me, but it was racing into me. I just feel bad because Volcanic got collected.
And we are green, back to racing here at Suzuka, and a 5-second penalty for Octane speeding into the pit lane. Wow, Pit Road is handing out the speeding penalties like no other. Yeah, they must have a copper down there with a radar gun. These guys are getting busted like crazy. And that really sucks for Volcanic. He just came off of a 6th place finish at Abu Dhabi. A 3-second time penalty for Brian for multiple warnings.
Understood. Stop.
Troy did make it into pit road without speeding. Medium's on and away he goes. Foursquare still out there on the softs. Here he goes into the pit lane.
Only one stop to go. One stop left.
Can he make it to pit road speed? He did. Almost like an extreme sport seeing these guys make it to pit road speed after the way it's gone today.
Go, go, go.
Medium's on and away he goes. How about Ryan? Out there on the mediums, he'll be probably transitioning to softs later, or maybe trying to go until the potential rain. But we will see how that works out for him.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a
Foursquare's
penalty
going to
for
be
dangerous
coming out
driving
in
if
the
you
8th
cross over into
position.
the
How about
traffic.
Malik on fresh mediums?
Okay, clear.
Can't get the Foursquare yet, but he'll be up to speed as Foursquare will try to get up to speed. Larry into the pit lane, a fresh set of mediums, and away he goes. Back up front, Ben has a 1.3 second lead over Hector. 3.7 seconds Hector has over Troy. There's a 5-second lead amongst the top 3. Caution in sectors 1 and 2, that's a Mercedes. Sorry, not a Mercedes, that was a Toro Rosso. And a 132.290 on the mediums for the Alfa Romeo of Hector.
mistakes that I make now. Kaya gusto nyo lang ulit natin mistake. Just saying.
Oh, Ben almost going wide. Very aggressive through turn 8. As Hector is pushing and is on the attack on the Williams.
Smoke, you're lagging. You're good.
Green flag.
No. I'm just behind you, that's all.
How about Hector now on the gearbox to the inside of the Williams he goes. A 132.063 on the mediums, a clear to the race lead. Ben, now can he get back at the Alfa Romeo? About 4 squared in that Red Bull, closing up on Steven. Steven on 13 lap old softs. Managing that tire life pretty nicely. Been a while since I've seen softs go that long. Octane to 13th over Larry. That's further down the running order. Pass over Renault. That happened on the front straightaway. How about Hector? A 131.947. He's getting faster, but here comes Ben. A huge slipstream and a huge run with the DRS to the outside. Hector gets to the grass. He's loose. Ben goes right under. Well played by Ben to try to get that Alfa Romeo to make a mistake, and that's exactly how Ben retook the race lead.
The gap to the car ahead is 2.
Steven into the pit lane now on those 14 lap old softs. Plus however many laps he had on in qualifying with those softs. So on to the mediums he goes. Mediums, he should be good to the end, possibly, and if there's potential rain, well into the good if there is enough water on the track to warrant a tire change to a wet compound. That either being the intermediates or the heavy wets. So Ben in the race lead. Will Hector have another go? Hector have a go this lap is another question. We'll have DRS, the gap's about 0.5 of a second. Using the slipstream, there's a caution in sector 1. That's a racing point going around, possibly Luis. Hector did not have a go that time down the front straightaway. It was too far back. But is sizing Ben up for another one in the coming laps.
Started to catch the car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop. We're leading our teammate by 18.5 seconds.
The gap's still 0.5 of a second. We'll look further down the running order. Troy sat third. Rolo 4th. How about Pillars in 5th? Ryan with 15 lap old mediums in 6th. Trying to go as long as he can on those mediums.
You're trying to go as long as they can just in case there is rain. They don't need to change a tire. They can go right to a wet tire. Just whatever.
Around goes the racing point. That one is Steven, not Luis.
First drops in the next few minutes.
Take out the sign as well. And Pillars has left the session, so that Ferrari will become AI. Another spin for the racing point. appears to be no wing damage or not enough to warrant a pit stop. But it is now on the tail end of the lead lap. Going around to 17 laps remaining.
Rain's coming real soon.
Now Ben is 7/10 of a second lead over Hector. One lap
I want to
fresher
get wet.
tires
I'm
than
already
Hector.
bad in the S's.
Troy 5 seconds back off the race lead with 2 lap pressure tires, then second place. Ryan really wanting it to start pouring soon so he can go straight from mediums to inners.
Okay, clear.
Foursquare on fresher mediums by 11 laps fresher. Let's start piling on the pressure. You have a lap car. He's got the time to move, timed it beautifully to the left side. A 3-second time penalty for David. Multiple warnings. Comes Malico up on the lapper. He'll go fine through 130R, but he'll have a go at Ryan in the coming lap.
Gap to the car ahead.
As Ryan into the pit lane, he's probably going to fit a set of socks as it's beginning to rain, but not going to be enough to put on inters. That is what he's doing. He's putting on a set of socks. That has to hurt. Almost made it. So now Malico and Foursquare will be able to duke it out for the 60th position.
Actually made it back up to Foursquare after getting like 3 auto spin curbs.
Yeah, you were back there. You caught up.
Many things in Dan up to 8th and 9th. Ryan comes down to 10th position as it begins to rain now. You can feel free to use up those soft tires as he's probably going to as the track will become wet in the coming laps. Luis has already fitted the wet tires. He's going to heat those bad boys dried up.
The wet tires are intermediate.
Damn it, Louis.
The wet tires.
Oh my
stutter.
god, that is the dumbest.
Why would you? Oh, God.
And Hector was right on the gearbox of the Williams. He's got to think about this as he'll start to lose grip on these slick tires. What kind of a go will he have at Ben, and how hard can he drive it into these corners without making contact with the Williams?
Okay, we need some energy harvesting.
So
Reduce
it is
your
definitely
requirement.
raining here at Suzuka, but when does the track become wet enough? When is there standing water and puddles for these drivers to be forced to come in the fit intermediates?
According to Luis, it's a
lap ago.
For full wet.
This is starting to get the heavy wet weather right here.
Yeah, Luis, he's going on that strategy from
On that 1,000 IQ Ferrari strategy.
I was gonna say that Ferrari strategy from Malaysia a few years back. I think Raikkonen.
Malaysia 09.
The
Oh,
F1
no.
car, it's getting too wet. He's getting in his Ford Raptor. Around here.
Yeah, Luis on that Kimi Raikkonen strategy. Was it Raikkonen?
Honestly, what are we doing here? Racing or bolting?
As Malico trying to take 6th away. Maybe Ryan's trying to get 8th on fresher and softer tires before the rain starts pouring. And Hector trying to get the race lead. Not able to have a go yet. Ben holding his own on a slowly losing grip racing surface. So the one thing now
Jeff
is
just contradicted himself. He just said the track is dry enough, you can stay out, box this lap.
Gap to teammate behind is
What the fuck?
23.8
You can
seconds.
stay out by. We ain't risking it, boys.
You can stay out in these conditions. Box this lap.
But now the goal is, as drivers, to not wreck the car before it is time to pit in that transition period.
Oh, I'm gonna wreck the car, 100%.
Larry giving way to Steven. Steven up to 13. Starting to see a little bit of water on the track, but is it enough to warrant pit stops? We will see.
I am on the same tires I started on. I'm in 12th, so I mean, I'm not too far distance.
And yeah, how about the Alfa Romeo of Dan and the McLaren of Brian on 19 lap old mediums, saving a pit stop, and still one barely in points and the other outside of points.
Caution, caution.
Steven piling on the pressure on Brian. Pillars back into the session and regains control of the Ferrari as Luis in the Racing Point is slow on the front straightaway on those heavy wets. Kimi Räikkönen strategy paid off big time for Racing Point.
One time he's gonna get lapped enough to where he won't complete 90%.
Okay, you're catching the car ahead, but remember, we need to get to the end of the race on these tires.
Dan into the pit lane, 20 lap old mediums. It'll be a set of inters. Now his goal is to not heat those up.
Not wet enough.
Malenko on Foursquare, side by side as they head through turn 12. Malenko right on the quarter panel. Foursquare trying to give him room, but trying to be defensive. Malenko up the inside into Spoon. How hard does he push it? Slipping and sliding through Spoon. Malenko up to 6th. Pillars is back in the Ferrari, so they're going to have to try even harder if they're going to get to the top 5. As the leader's negotiating heavy lap traffic right now. Oh, and Ben goes around! Sliding still! Maybe it's time for some wet tires.
No, I'm so good. Actually.
Nice job, Grip.
A 3-second time penalty for many things, for multiple warnings.
My tires are on.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
That's Dan, who hit it way too early.
I'd say give it a lap or two. Actually, no, probably more than that.
Probably one
So
more
now
lap,
up
and
to 11th place is on the lead. Everybody in the top 11 is on the lead lap. And Steven right ahead of the leaders. As Brian and Larry have been lapped along with Dan on a pit stop. Dan a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. The many things now tries to hold off Ryan. Again, pressure stops for Ryan, but the track quickly becoming a swimming pool. Ooh, and Larry is broken the front wing.
BG.
And a 3-second time penalty
I
for
was giving you
Brian.
the
For
inside.
multiple warnings, he's made contact with Troy.
gave you the entire inside, man.
He broke on the racing lane coming up to the curb. That is not giving me space. That is brake checking. Learn the difference.
leading our
BG.
teammate by 23.8 seconds.
So now the top 10 are the only drivers on the lead lap, and Luis gets his first 3-second time penalty of the day, 5 laps down. Again, Ryan trying to pile on the pressure on many things. Now the question becomes, do these guys even pit, even if he becomes wet enough because of how few laps there are left in the race? So these guys on old mediums, on a track that's slightly becoming wet, and duking it out for the race lead, 18 seconds ahead of Troy now, as Troy just trying to fend off Rolo if he doesn't have to pit. As we'll be coming around to 3 laps remaining in the Japanese Grand Prix, this time by Larry into the pit lane.
It is really like, it's feeling like it's not gonna get wet enough.
Larry fits a set of softs. He doesn't believe it's going to be wet enough. But Colton's fit a set of intermediates.
Let them go on stop. Fuck it.
That guy
Not
went.
accumulating any water.
That guy went on the wrong tires.
Oh yeah, the wet tires. Yeah,
That cost
he
you the position.
went on that a while ago.
Okay, clear.
Around at
Luis
3,
still trying to get them to pay off.
those wets have to be cooked by now.
Same like can be said for Dan's inners.
They're only 2 laps old, but anyway, Hector.
I know, but it's on a mostly dry track.
Sorry. Sorry, many things.
Okay, even though we're seeing cars struggle in these conditions, if
Yeah, I
we
didn't
pit
see it on
right
pit
now, we're
lane.
going to be too slow and we'll burn them out.
Hooray.
Make the best of it for the time being. Okay, gap ahead is
3-second time
3.9
penalty
seconds.
for V Mercedes and Colton for corner cutting. As
Thanks, Dan.
Dan has come to a complete stop in the chicane and is heading into the pit lane now, probably to fit a set of dry tires.
So definitely for dry.
And a 5-second penalty for Freddie ignoring blue flags. Probably just in the midst of traffic now, not really easy to do. Also racing Larry for position. Coming around to 2 laps to go. Now is the point where I don't think anybody will pit if it becomes wet enough. There's no advantage. But now it's all Ben and Hector going at it with 2 laps to go here at the Suzuka circuit. Taking the IndyCar line down the front straightaway. Hector, a nice block. Entering turn 1 on Ben, forcing him to hit the brakes.
Some more laps.
Luis giving way to the leaders. 5 lap old wets for Luis.
That's 4 tires.
We've only got 2 laps of
Oh,
fuel
Ben
left.
got in the gravel. He's got to re-gather it. He's still got a lap and a half to go. Gaps up to a 2nd. Losing grip quickly on this track. The next thing is, can Hector keep his car under control? We're coming up to 130R. Hector, the Alfa Romeo. Ben in the Williams. Troy trying to fend off Rolo for third. The final lap here at Suzuka. Does Ben have anything 0.8 of a second back? A wet racetrack? Who can keep their car in between the white lines? Three-second time penalty for Rolo for multiple warnings. That pretty much eases that battle for third. Here comes Ben, closing the gap, down to half a second, and continuing to close on Hector. All over the gearbox now, half a lap to go here at Suzuka. He is there. The current points leader and last season's champion going at it through turn 10, nose to tail on the final lap here at Japan. A 3-second time penalty for Dan for multiple warnings. Ben is there, piling on the pressure, looking to the inside of Bruno to make contact. Hector came across the nose of Ben. And that contact provided Ben can make it through 130R in the chicane is enough
is 6.2 seconds.
to secure the win for Ben through the final corner. Ben is going to win here at Suzuka, but not without a little bit of contact on the final lap. Here comes Hector for second. Troy battling Rolo to the line for third. He's got to keep the car under control, and he's got the position either way. Going at it. The Mercedes into Renault. Rolo losing control. It's going to be Troy in third over Rolo in fourth.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
Here comes Pillars into the chicane. He'll come through the final corner. Pillars will come home fifth. About Malico in for Markle. We'll get another points paying position for Markle up to fifth because Pillars had time penalties. Here comes Foursquare for seventh.
I'm on, praise you didn't take me out there. I saw you coming. Good job.
Here comes Many Things through the final corner. He'll come home eighth over Ryan. Ryan goes to eighth because Many Things had time penalties. A lot of changing for position because of penalties. We'll see if any are disputed in post-race. And an unserved penalty. A lot of penalties here in the last sector. How about Octane, a top 10 in the Haas. Nice job able to squeeze out some points. And a 5-second time penalty for Octane for an unserved penalty. Oh, and that's going to do it here in Japan.
Good race, guys. Good race.
Wild race.